Hello everyone, this video will be on how to do an ANCOVA, and that part will be quite short, but I will also show you some more about Chart Builder and some more on how to check the assumptions for the ANCOVA. First, to do an ANCOVA, go to Analyze, General Linear Model, Univariate, and like the ANOVA, you will have a dependent variable and at least one vector variable. Now we have also another continuous variable, and this is going to be our covariate, and as the name implies, it's going to go here. These options are all explained in my previous video, so I will only be going into what has changed, which is model. And now you can see it also includes the covariate. And do note here for in a minute that I have selected full factorial. So normally full factorial includes the interaction effect. For ANCOVA, no interaction effect between the covariate and the factor is included by default. So you are working with two main effects, the main effect of the covariate and the main effect of the factor. So much for ANCOVA. Then I will show you how to do check some assumptions. You have the assumptions of equal scores, which means that the scores of all groups are equal for the covariate. And one easy way to check this is to run an ANOVA. So we here have our covariate, and it now becomes the dependent variable. And then we click OK, and now we have an analysis of variance. And if there is a difference between groups, this will be significant. So in this case, there is no significant difference between groups. Secondly, we have the homogeneity of regression lines, and this can be checked within the general linear model as far as I know. Instead, we go to Graphs, Chart Builder. One thing I didn't explain the last time we used Chart Builder is that these are the standard ones, and here you have some extra options. Basic elements I would not touch, I don't understand it myself quite yet, and titles and footnotes are pretty unnecessary for this course. Instead, but if you go to gallery, we'll need a scatter plot, so we'll add one, and then we go to group points, point ID, and then we can click group second variable. And now here an extra box has appeared, so if we remove it again, box gone. And here you can set the groups. So now we will move the factor, or in this case the ordinal variable of the pressure, will move to this color. And now we have I usually put a dependent variable on the x-axis and the covariate on the y-axis. You can just switch this around without issue. Again, it will only change the graph. Then we have some extra options here. Here you can set custom colors. So now we have dark green instead of red, and now it's red again. So here you can change the colors. These are missing variable options, and you won't need them much, I think. And finally, we have element properties. So if we click OK now without changing these, we will get just a graph. And if you check the axis here starts at 2, and you want the other one starts below 1. And it's not ideal because something is falling off here. So in this case, I would like to start both at 0. And to do so, we go return to the chart builder and we click x-axis. And now the variable minimum we want to set to 0. So instead of we uncheck automatic, and custom is automatically 0. And the y-axis, same story, we uncheck minimum, and now we have custom. And now they both start at I think I didn't save something. And something is going weird here because it still doesn't start at 0, but it should start at 0 at this point. So I don't know what's wrong there. Either way, at least this one does now start at 0, so we can properly see all the points. One other option that I would like you to notify of is group color. So let's say we have a different data set and now we have this order, but we want to change the order of colors. And you can just switch the order up and down with these arrows, which is also a nice touch. You can change the titles to something that makes sense if you're very happy to do so. Makes it look nicer, not very necessary here. And here you can even set the type of statistic you have, which will be value in most, if not all cases in this summer school. So that's the element properties. So for now, what we've changed actually is we have created a scatter plot. We have added go to groups point ID and added a stacking variable. This is the factor. Then we added the dependent variable on the x-axis, the independent variable on the y-axis, and then we went to x-axis and made a minimum 0 and did the same for the y-axis. The minimum is 0. Okay. And there's still something going wrong here, but I'll leave it like this. So now we have this graph, and for the homogeneity of regression lines, we want to know, are these lines equal? So we have 3 colors, red, blue and green, and I will just run this again so I can show you the difference after I edit the lines. So by double clicking on it, you will open the chart editor, and to add regression lines you only need 2 clicks. Firstly, there's this button here which says add fit line at subgroups. Note that also down here if you hover over it. Click this. Then we here have this thing which we can ignore. We want it linear. We don't want to add confidence intervals, so we close. So as you can see here, these two have the same direction, but they do cross. So we can say there is some effect of interaction, but it doesn't seem too extreme. And mostly because it seems to be there because of this very high point. So here I'd say it's, I personally say it's with blue and red it's violated, but not that badly. It's not like we switched around in direction. And then we have green, which does seem to be really violated because it just goes another way entirely. But here, do note the, if we can cross this out and it'll appear here as well. So close the window, I mean. And do note here the points where it is, and it's all on one heap around 20 and 5, 6. So the direction here is very variable if you would add a point right around here. So if it's here, it's going to be have a similar regression line. If it's over here, it's going to have a very different regression line and will be so if it's here, you will get a line much like red or blue, something like that. And if it's here, you're going to see a line as we see it currently, which is going upwards. So here you could say that on first sight it seems violated, but it might not be violated. This may be due to it being all grouped together, which makes the regression lines quite variable. So this is how you do an ANCOVA and check two of its assumptions. I think you will be okay with the rest of the assumptions. They haven't gotten much harder than previously. So good luck with your exercise, and I hope this video helps.